Well, one person we kind of touched on early in the interview was Nipsey Hussle.
Right, right.
So, you being from Inglewood family, him being from the '60s,
Mm-hmm.
how did that work out? And what made it cool for you guys to be able to work together, being that your hoods are
Yeah.
rivals?
Man, it's crazy, man. It all stemmed from Key Rock, man. Remember back when I told you that fight we had with Suge Knight and Key Rock from '60s was part of his label. So my affiliation with Nipsey Hussle came from Key Rock, man. Years later, and Corrupt, Dog Pound. I was with Corrupt when he they had a shootout and Lil Draws got killed in Glendale. I was there, so I knew Corrupt from since then. But Nipsey Hussle, like I said, after the BMF era, um, Nipsey Hussle, like I said, he was trying to be like Black Mafia family. He was trying to have his entourage and them be successful like us in the streets. And I remember I had a studio in Hollywood, and Key Rock had brought Corrupt to the studio to do a song, and I this is like maybe like before I went to Atlanta heavy. So this was like maybe like 2000, 2001. So I had a studio, and like I say, Key Rock had brought Corrupt to do a studio in my studio, and he nigga had fucking like 8, 9 Crips with him and shit in my studio. And at the time, my partner, we had a studio we shared, and he left. He had to go home. He was like, "You gonna be all right, S?" Because he knew I was from Inglewood, and I was be around all these 6'0" niggas. But one thing about me was, like I say, music was always a bridge gap. You know what I'm saying? I always want to not produce for just Bloods, because I came from like producing niggas like B Brazy and the Bloods and Crips banging on wax errors and shit, doing shit like that. But I knew I wanted to produce for people from all walks of life. So I would never get prejudiced to the fact that he's a Crip or something. I'm not gonna work with him because he's a Crip. You know what I'm saying? Or a person because he's a Crip. You know what I'm saying? Even like stemming from LA Confidential, that was a Crip label. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Blood being signed to a Crip label. So I knew how to be around Crips. I was a Blood that knew how to be around Crips, and I got family members that's from 6-0. I got my brothers, all my brothers initially from Inglewood family. Then I got cousins that's from Overhill 60s. Shout out to Monster, my cousin Shad, you know what I'm saying? Sandra and all them, you know what I'm saying? They got kids by niggas from 6-0, Overhill ballers and shit. So I always had people from over there. If I had to pull my politics, I would pull them, but I never did. So yeah, going back to Nipsey, like I said, he was a little kid. He was a teenager in my studio at that time. When Key Rock had brought him, I was doing a song with Corrupt. He was a little kid in my studio. He was one of them Crip dudes that was in my studio. Nipsey was young. So at the end of the session, make a long story short, I gave it was Cobby Supreme. I don't know if you heard of Cobby Supreme. That Nipsey Hussle always shout about Cobby Supreme. Tiny G Bob from 6-0. Speedy just came home. My boy Speedy just came home. Was cool with G Bob. My boy Speedy. Gotta give it up to Speedy. Can't leave Speedy out. Speedy had them, was over there with me. You feel me? It was over there with me at the studio, and they ended up working doing a song. We did a song called "On the Brome" or something like that with Key Rock, and they said Nipsey. So at the end of the session, make a long story short, I gave G Bob a CD, a beat CD with like 9 of my beats on there. So maybe about 2 years later, they seen Nipsey, Nipsey Hussle, whatever. He was around them, and he got my CD somehow through G Bob, and he had recorded Hustler Huster on Bullets Ain't Got No Names. If you look up Hustler Huster, it's produced by me. He had got that beat. I had produced for Nipsey before I even met him. I mean, before I could say, yeah, this is my studio. As a kid, I didn't know who he was. We didn't even know who he was. We wasn't even tripping off of him. We was there for Corrupt and Key Rock, but they was there. So G Bob gave somehow Atlanta. He had Nipsey Hussle had got my beat CD and recorded Hustler Huster. So I still didn't know him at the time. He had recorded one of my songs. So then I had a manager named Jabari Ali. Shout out Jabari Ali. You know what I'm saying? My manager at the time. he knew Nipsey Hussle. He was like, man, I know this kid. He got a deal on the table with Sony Records. And, you know, at that time, I was trying to place records on artists that had deals. You know what I'm saying? So I went and met Nipsey at his apartment. And he was staying at the Grove, by the Grove in Hollywood. He had an apartment across the street from the Grove. So I went and met him in the Grove, and this is how we did our second song. We did Speak My Language. You look up Speak My Language, produced by me, Nipsey Hussle featuring Lloyd Banks and Corey Guns. That's the second song I did with Nipsey. So yeah, I met with him at his apartment. I gave him that beat, and I was like, bro, you dope, man. You know what I'm saying? I heard the mixtape, The Bullets Ain't Got No Names, and he said he had a deal on the table for Sony Records, and he ended up losing that deal. You know what I'm saying? I think Big U was somehow involved in the negotiations at that time, and they dropped him. And Nipsey was supposed to give me $10,000 for the record. We had negotiated. My manager was telling him I produced for Eve, a lot of different people, and my rate was $10,000 to $20,000 for mainstream artists for my production. And so he took my beat and he was gonna put it on his album, and he ended up getting the deal dropped. So never got paid for the beat. Years went past. I had worked with Nipsey, did more songs with him and G-Bob. And after that, like I said, I was one of his, he was always telling me, he was like, man, S, when I get on, you know, all my producers are gonna be straight. You're gonna be my day one producer. You're gonna be my, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be one of my day one producers, blah, 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 blah. And so when I went to the studio one time, I brought one of my blood friends with me. And I told him, don't tell them where I'm from, you know what I'm saying? So this way, before they knew where I was from. So then, while I'm in the studio, my friend told him where I was from, and Nipsey Hussle was watching a BMF documentary. And on this documentary, I was on it. And I was on there talking my shit. I was like, nigga, this Inglewood family, nigga, it's blood, blah, 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 blah. And they was looking at it, and all his homeboys was looking at it too. And them niggas was like, oh shit, this nigga from the enemy's hood. You feel me? And my homeboy done told him where I'm from. I'm like, man, but they not tripping. You know what I'm saying? They just like, oh shit. A couple of his homies like, you know, they looking at shit. Like, okay. But they see I'm not no threat. So, they, you know, it went the other way, man. You feel me? Like, you know, he was cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't no like, oh, he from over there. Like, he invited me to the studio, but whenever I came back around, he was like, come by yourself. Yeah, he definitely said that. He's like, S, come by yourself. But when I learned later, I learned that he had his sister got a baby by one of our friends. You know, Scheme. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but he seen I was into the music more than like the banging life. You know what I'm saying? You could feel that. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it worked out, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I ended up producing more songs for him. I did J Stone for him. You know what I'm saying? Now, me getting paid for the music I did for him, I never got paid from it, but he ended up, like I said, when he ended up dying, he was maybe like a month before he died. I had mixed it. I was supposed to be on a Victory Lap album, but I was in New York fighting a case. So I was out in New York, and the Victory Lap album, he didn't want nobody to send no beats. He wanted people to come in and make the beats. So he was like, S, I got this formula. I got all my producers coming to the studio to make beats. He was like, don't send me nothing. Kitty Rock had called me on three-way with him. And I was like, bro, when I beat this case, I'll come out there and finish, you know what I'm saying? Or I'll get on the next one. I ain't tripping. I'll be on the next Victory Lap album. I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? So then he passed away. And we was supposed to eventually, like, man, like, you know, settle on the songs. The song that I did with him, he ended up putting them out anyway. Black market, you know, on the underground. So I never got paid from it. But what ended up happening right before he died was Black Sam and them, they repackaged up the Bullets Ain't Not Got No Name series. And so now they repackaged it up. I'm trying to get with them to try to handle my business because I feel like it's not fair that I can't do no more songs with Nipsey Hussle, and the only history I got with him is the songs that we did in the past. You know what I'm saying? And the songs I did in the past is the songs that I got to hold on to now. Because Nipsey Hussle only got one industry album. All his mixtape songs became his catalog now. You feel me? They're his catalog, forever his catalog. So the songs we did, which we didn't handle our business on back in the day, you know, now they're being used and, you know, it's profits being, you know, dispersed out for it. I feel like it's only fair for me to get back with them and try to get my business straight with Black Sound. But yeah, like Nipsey Hussle was like one of his day ones, man. Just like even through this industry, through the 2 Chainz, from 2 Chainz, the Jeezys, the Gucci Mans, I was involved in a lot of these guys' careers early on in, man. You know what I'm saying? And planted seeds and laid bricks, you know what I'm saying, with these guys' careers, man. And, you know, like I say, I'm still relevant, man. I'm still, the last song I produced, like I say, Nipsey Hussle, Jay Stone. I did, what's Kendrick boy name? What's Kendrick boy name?
J-Rock?
J-Rock, yeah, I did J-Rock shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still a relevant producer out here making beats and putting out records. I got the Stash House out and everything. And yeah, man, just like I say, this music, man, it's tied in all of my street shit with my run-ins with the millionaires and entrepreneurs and, you know what I'm saying, and my cousins and shit like Razcast, the E40, Turf Talk. You know, shout out to all them, you know what I'm saying, the people in the Bay. Yeah, man.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.